Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Kende Bodarian.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
All right, it's the start of a new day and we are glad to have you on the show today. We will kick off with today's newspaper review before diving into the main conversation of the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss a moment with us. You can join the conversation by dropping your comments, liking and following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. So joining us to share the matters at hand is Barrister Evans Ufeli. He is a barrister and a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Barrister, and we'll make you welcome.
Good morning to you.
Thank you so very much. So, Barrister joins us from Toronto in Canada, and we would be having our discussions today, of course, starting with our newspapers, and possibly the main conversation follows. So, which of the papers do you want us to start with?
Okay, let's start with the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian newspaper, the big story, we have fiscal indiscipline fuels budget chaos, governance gaps.
All right, we equally have the growing matters. Tinubu declines assent to central gaming bill.
Okay, we have government target 2 billion naira savings in 2026 as MDAs go paperless.
And also on the tax issue, tax reform role deepens as civil society demands a probe, flags concerns.
All right, beside that, we have stakeholders condemn reps' refusal to criminalize vote buying at primaries.
And also to health corner, Nigeria records 33 new Lassa fever cases, 18.2% fertility spike. I'd love us to start the day today with
should we go with the tax reform?
With the tax issue, though we have it for our main conversation, which will be stated about the lapses on that. So maybe we just, when we get to the main conversation, we'll fleshing that out. But let's go to other matters. Barrister, fiscal indiscipline fuels a budget chaos, governance gaps. Speak to us on this. I know we have overflogged issues like this, but I think it's our responsibility to keep saying it until possibly the government and those at the corridor of power get to hear us and maybe change a little bit in their desires. What's your take on this, Barrister?
On which of the issue right now? You listed a lot of issues.
Yes, I said on the fiscal indiscipline. Fiscal indiscipline fuels a budget chaos and the governance gaps.
Yeah, you know, the president just presented the 2026 budget.
Yeah.
Okay. And why people are looking at the component of that budget, because every budget in Nigeria is a scandal. If it's not budget padding, you will find something irregular in the budget. Okay. Now we're adding to the list according to Peter Obi. But you see that fiscal indiscipline, it cuts across all ministries, MDAs and parastatals of government. It is because we have a huge deposit of lack of patriotism in our space. So government function or government functionaries is just about what people can get. And that in itself is a very big problem to the Nigerian society. Because if you build an economy based on what you can get, what everyone can get at every given time, it means that at the end of the day, those who are weak will be very impoverished. Okay? Those who are the indiscipline stems from the president down. Okay? Just like the tax they're talking about. How do you tax poverty? How do you tax poverty? You see, there is general fiscal indiscipline. Okay. Is it in terms of healthcare? Is it in terms of the economy generally? Even the electricity? It runs down through officers. Now you are talking about just the budget, but it runs down through officers. That fiscal indiscipline must be dealt with because no economy can run on the basis of inequality. And then you still find progress along the line. Okay? We must run an egalitarian society. Our society is not egalitarian. It is skewed and rigged against the very poor and weak. Okay? So until we watch that, until we regain our thought, our consciousness, we'll not be able to make progress as it were. Because Nigeria must be run properly. And unfortunately, the government in power today is not thinking about that. They are not thinking about that. They are thinking something different, far away from what they should be doing. And so to find an equilibrium or to find progress, government must be faithful to the people. Government must, thrive to defend the constitution that it took an oath to defend. Okay. Government must look after the very weak in society. Government must create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. But all that, this government have no business with all that. It's running a unidirectional system where it takes a decision and runs through it like it's not leading anyone. So it's part of why the problem persists.
All right, okay. Beautiful.
Okay, what about, are there legal sanctions for MDAs that exceed budget limits?
Yeah, well, MDAs cannot even exceed their budget limits because most times, even what is budgeted, they don't get the full money. They don't get, sometimes when they say budget perform 50% or 45%, see, budget does not mean you are going to get all the money. Budget is just a statement of intention. It doesn't mean that the government must spend all that money. It's just for planning purpose. It's for directional purpose. It's for you've not seen situation where government will budget a huge amount of money to a ministry and then release throughout the year, release less than 40% of it to them. So it's not left for them, yes, it's not left for them to go and look for how to, manage it within what is available. They have to, because resources are scarce. That's one of the elements of money, is the scarcity. Okay? So they cannot go beyond, except perhaps the award contracts, and ministries cannot even award contracts beyond certain threshold. So you are aware of that. Beyond certain, when it gets to certain threshold, they have to table it before FEC, Federal Executive Council. Certain kind of project that requires certain kind of amount of money cannot be approved just like that by the minister. It has to be referred to FEC. FEC will discuss it. Almost like in the National Assembly, they will discuss it and they can throw it out. You understand? If it's not expedient, if there's something in that ministry that is much more expedient than that particular one, it can be thrown out. But within everything, even with the limited budget release to some, they still find their ways embezzling money. You understand? So I don't think a ministry can spend above its budget. If it does that, that means I don't know how they go about it.
All right, so let's move to the Vanguard newspaper. We have the big story: why presidency raised the 2026 budget to 58 trillion naira. A writer to that story works on details as Nigerians await a breakdown. Okay,
we also have NDLEA nabs female drug kingpin, seizes 23.5 kilograms of cocaine in children's room.
All right, but let's just get to a talking point for today. Unprecedented takeover, dynamics, implications of APC's dominance of National Assembly. Barrister, did you watch that? I call it gory because it is really not democratic. The new national anthem, as done by the National Assembly when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was about to present the budget to them. On your mandate, we shall stand. Everybody stood up, reciting that. What's your take on all of that and what we have, which the APC is calling unprecedented takeover of the 10th National Assembly?
It was a gory sight. It was ugly. I blame the opposition in the House that could not raise a point of order, mostly because they were all scared of the situation. It was a gory side. They acted like they were not representing the people. You know, you go to a National Assembly that comprises of different political parties. You have a minority leader, you have a majority leader, you have a Senate president. It was plenary. Okay, both houses together. Okay, and you find that happening. You know, it was unfortunate. Okay, what are they telling Nigerians? This is the same president that's not performing. Not even like it's a performing president. It's a president that does not even have a grip of what he's doing, that practically does not even know what he's doing. And that is a president that the National Assembly that's supposed to be the bullhawk of democracy, that's supposed to be the harbinger of lawmaking. They're not singing on your mandate you shall stand. On which mandate? On which mandate? The election that brought Tinubu into power is not legitimate. It still have legitimate issues to answer, even though the court have resolved it in his favor. But it lingers. The scandal lingers. So when did it become the choice of everyone overnight that on your mandate? Because you know what happened in the National Assembly that day? What happened is that the whole Nigeria, because the National Assembly is a conglomeration of every constituency in Nigeria. Okay? Every constituency in the country. So what happened that day was that the entire country, the entire population of 200 million plus of Nigerians actually sang that song. The moment your representative, your rep, was up on his feet, singing on your mandate, we shall stand. You, your children, your household, your family, who are being represented by your representative, was singing the same song. That's what it meant. To a president that is not performing, to a political party that have no systems or method. So you see that our democracy truly has gone bad. They just banned us from entering the US. The government is not remorseful about it. The US government called on Nigeria, stop killing yourselves. Government, take care of insurgency. Do the right thing. People came out and started castigating that they want to take our oil and they want to take this, they want to take the government also put up a defense. It's not only Christian, it's Christian, it's can, it's not can and all that. And what they said that the reason they gave is that for security reasons, okay, because people move around in the country, so for security, they don't want people to just float into the US from the country. And that was it. Millions of people had admission, young people. All that is gone till further notice. So that alone is enough for a president to resign in a country that they know what they're doing. But what we see here is on your mandate, we shall stand. So the sadness for which this brings to the heart is one that is very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, really.
Well, then, Barrister, what are the long-term implications for democracy? Do you think it's still going to get better, or it's going to still be the way it is?
Especially with this despotic appeal that we see.
No, democracy has caved in now. Democracy has caved in. What we have now is a regional monarchy. That's exactly what you have now. Yes, because it is when the king steps in that people say Kabiusi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And the king can do no wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that anthem, that on your mandate we shall stand, is not different from say Kabiusi. Mm-hmm. It's hailings, it's praises. That's what it is now. It's a monarchical posture. You understand? So democracy is dead in Nigeria. You know, it has caved in, nobody to rescue it. Okay, no opposition. But apart from Peter Obi, there's no opposition in the whole of the country. Okay? So when you have a system that runs that way, how are you going to have checks? Who's going to check who? Who is going to check who? That citizens our citizens are being embarrassed all over the world. Okay. When you go to Ghana, we are the headline everywhere. Okay. And then we are the politicians, for want of what to eat and for the purpose of retaining their seats where they are there and not performing, they will keep, frustrating what democracy should represent. Okay? So at the end of the day, what you have is just complete breakdown. Complete breakdown. We have a complete breakdown. That is what it is.
That is what it is, and that's what Nigeria is about, basically. Well, Barrister, let's take on other matters, and still from the same newspaper. Finally, this might look like a joke, but it is reality. Okay. Remaining 130 abducted Niger pupils released. This is looking more like they divided the release in 3 batches. The first batch came, the second batch, and this is the final batch. And we see it like it's normal in a country like Nigeria, where every inch of the country is represented at least by a councillor and knows the terrain very well. Why do you think we keep behaving like ostriches, hiding our heads in the sand, while a lump of our body is exposed in the open to ridicule?
Yeah, the same thing where this analysis is just one way street. The same thing we are talking about. The bandits are busy releasing people kidnapped in batches based on the demands. It is based on the money, the amount of money that they are releasing accordingly. Yes, it's based on the ransom. They release them in batches. In that state where they are releasing them in batches, you have a governor. You have a governor in that state. You have a deputy governor. You have the State House of Assembly. You have a State House representative, a State House Assembly member representing that constituency. You have a local government chairman, representing that local government. You have a councillor representing that ward where that kidnap took place. Yeah. You have all those hierarchy of leadership. You understand? Okay. But they are not bothered. They are not perturbed because nobody will force them out of office. You understand? So they can just keep on collecting their salaries and not performing. Nobody will question them. The people are already impoverished and weak. So who's going to question them? The people are preoccupied with survival. Okay? How they even save themselves from insurgency or attacks. That's what they are occupied with. Many of them are in IDP camps. People who are in IDP camps, do they have voice? Or people who are very, very poor, would they be able to stand for themselves? Their leaders that should stand for them, they will compromise. They are singing on your mandate, we shall stand. On the mandate, on this mandate, where insecurities has ruptured the country, on this mandate where things are going haywire, that's the mandate that Nigeria want to stand on. You understand? Are we serious? We're not a serious set of people. We're not serious set of people. We're supposed to turn that to a protest march, and say we cannot stand on this mandate and call for the impeachment of the president. That's only what we're supposed to do, but we're doing we're doing the opposite.
Yes, most definitely. There should be the desire for that. Yeah. But just before we end for this particular segment, yesterday, let's go sports, if you may. But of course, we're just going to do comparisons of one or two here. AFCON opening ceremony. But my question is, when you take a look at the city under reference, Morocco, or the country under reference, Morocco, and cities like Casablanca and other cities in Morocco, you get to see civility, you get to see intentional leadership. You don't see people who discriminately poo, in a place or another. Everything is done well. Barrister, can you explain to us? You are far away from Nigeria. What do you think we can do to start getting it right? Maybe let's start with Lagos, which hopes to be, of course, one country, one city closest to what we intend it should be like. What do you think a city like Lagos should do to at least get to 50% of what European cities look like?
First is discipline. It's discipline. The people are not disciplined at all. People can be disciplined in their poverty. Poverty does not mean you should become mad and be defecating on the expressway or all sorts, okay? And they should teach this. They should teach this from the nursery and primary school, okay? And you see those who do this defecation up and down. They are those who are actually either homeless or not brought up in a good family setting. Yeah. A child that went to a private school, for example, I went through a private secondary school. It will be difficult for that child to go to the expressway to defecate. It will be difficult because of the decency in its formation, in its formative years. Okay? But for those who were not, those who didn't have that opportunity, those who just, managed to survive maternal, what do you call it now? Infant mortality accident. Those who manage to survive infant mortality, and then they are thrown into public schools, or sometimes they don't even attend school at all. They are out of school and the rest of that. They will find it decent, and they are homeless at the same time. They will find it decent to defecate anywhere. Okay, so that's one of it. Then two, there must be a deliberate and conscious effort to see that society and infrastructures are protected. In many of these countries, they have CCTV cameras everywhere. Okay? They have a very good traffic system. Their roads are good to avoid accidents. You know, you don't find trailer plying all roads. You know, that's why in very civilized cities, they have trains, and those train lines is where the trailers, they load that trailers are supposed to carry to ply the road and move with trains, but they are heavy duties. So the roads are kept for small vehicles, medium-sized vehicles and buses, okay? And then there's a conscious effort to make it clean by, having a system, okay, where people walk and protect the environment from hazards, okay, even from flood, from all kinds of hazards. There's a deliberate and conscious effort by government. When cities look like that, it doesn't look like that because it dropped from heaven. It looks like that because there's a system that ensures that it looks that way. There's a system that ensures that it looks that way. In Nigeria, we have the resources to have that done. A governor in Lagos State did it, Fashola, kept the city very clean, opened it up, and cleared it from refuse. In those days, you can't pass Oshodi. I know those who are young will not believe it. Those who are young will not believe it. In those days, before you can drive through Oshodi, it takes a lot of time because the people who are selling things on both sides, okay, they encroach into the road and they go to the center of the road and they are selling within. When Fashola came, he cleared it. He was definitive in what he wanted to do, and he took that action and brought decency to that place and the whole of the state. But today we don't have all that. Go to the Sule National Stadium. The National Stadium at Sule, you see what that place is. You see there's no maintenance, there's no innovation, most of the stadiums across the world that were built at that time, that one was built. Okay, I think it was built in the 70s.
Yes, 1972, exactly.
Yes, they are still being maintained to date. The one in Abuja, where Obasanjo spent a lot of money to build, that one happens to be one of the best stadiums in Nigeria. But if you go there, the last time we had the Nigerian NBA conference there, our NBA conference there, part of it is overgrown with weeds. And and the herdsmen are rearing their cattle around the vicinity and the rest of that. So that shows you how ugly it is. Abuja is fairly doing well, but now it's full of debt again.
Yeah.
And then the city is not managed the way it should be managed. And they're just building roads. Roads are not enough. You are constructing roads all over the place and bridges. It's not enough. How about those who litter the place? You know, if you people in Nigeria, once you step down from the bus, you can urinate anywhere. Yeah. You can't do that in civilized society. You can't defecate. You can't do all sorts, because there's a heavy fine that comes with it, and you must be caught because there are cameras all over the place. So you cannot even dispute it. If you throw dirt, it is serious fine. So we have to copy that system. It's not hard. These days, through the internet, you can even find how to put a system that will keep the place clean. But we're not serious about it. That's what I think.
All right, we would leave it at this point, and just to let you know that Barrister Evans Ofeli will still be here to take us on our main conversation. That is when we return. From padded budget to forged laws, Peter Obi slams Tinubu government over tax scandal. That in a bit is still Enterprise Morning.
We'll be right back.